Most people think making a home look expensive means buying expensive furniture, a bigger sofa, a new bed frame, a designer coffee table, something dramatic, something expensive enough to feel like it should change the whole room. But that is usually not what makes a space look elevated. In most homes, the thing that makes a room feel unfinished is not the big furniture. It is the small details around it. The clutter on the bathroom counter, the harsh lighting on the nightstand, the window curtains hanging too low, the blanket that looks flat instead of textured, the random everyday objects that have nowhere beautiful to live. That is where affordable decor can do a lot of work. The expensive-looking homes you see online are not always filled with the most expensive things. They're usually filled with pieces that create texture, softness, warmth, and intention. Nothing looks accidental. Even practical items feel chosen. So today, I want to show you 5 Amazon finds that can make a home look more expensive without making the room feel over-decorated. The first one is a natural marble tray. This is one of those pieces that seems almost too simple to matter until you actually use it. A bathroom counter with perfume, skincare, hand cream, jewelry, and a candle can easily look messy. But place those same items on a marble tray and suddenly it looks styled. The objects did not change, the surface did. That is the secret of trays. They turn clutter into a vignette. A marble tray works especially well because marble has visual weight. It feels permanent. It catches light beautifully. It gives even ordinary items a more considered place to sit. Use it on a nightstand for your watch, rings, candle, and lip balm. Use it on a bathroom counter for skincare. Use it on a coffee table with a candle, a small bowl, and a book. Use it near the entryway for keys and sunglasses. The point is not to display more. The point is to contain what is already there. That is a very designer trick. When everyday objects are grouped together, the eye reads them as intentional. When they are scattered, the eye reads them as mess. So, if your room feels almost finished but still a little chaotic, a marble tray is one of the fastest ways to make it look calmer and more expensive. The second find is a water hyacinth basket. Storage is one of the underrated parts of interior design. A room can have beautiful furniture, nice colors, and good lighting, but if there are blankets, toys, chargers, magazines, or random objects sitting out with no home, the room will still feel busy. That is why woven baskets are so useful. A water hyacinth basket does 2 things at once. It hides clutter and it adds natural texture. That combination is exactly what makes a space feel warmer and more layered. Plastic storage can make a room feel practical but not beautiful. A woven basket feels like decor, even when it is doing a job. Place one beside a sofa with a throw blanket inside. Put one near the bed for extra pillows. Use it in an entryway for shoes or dog leashes. Use it in a living room to hide things you need but do not want to look at every day. The reason this works is texture. In 2026, the expensive home look is moving away from cold, flat minimalism. It's less about empty rooms and more about natural materials: linen, wood, stone, woven fibers, cotton, ceramic. These materials make a room feel lived in, but still polished. A woven basket gives you that feeling instantly. It's not loud, it doesn't scream for attention, but it makes the room feel more thoughtful. And that's usually what expensive really means in home decor. It means the room feels considered. The third find is a cordless cable lamp. If there's one thing that can make or break a room, it's lighting. You can have a beautiful bedroom, a nice sofa, and carefully chosen decor, but if the lighting is harsh, cold, or only coming from the ceiling, the whole room feels less expensive. Luxury spaces rarely rely on one overhead light. They use layers: a lamp on a nightstand, a lamp on a console table, a small light on a shelf, a warm glow in a corner. That layered lighting is what creates depth. The problem is that not every room has an outlet exactly where you want a lamp. That's why a cordless table lamp is such a smart upgrade. You can place it on a dining table, a bookshelf, a bathroom counter, a kitchen island, a nightstand, or a small side table without worrying about cords. No messy cable, no visible plug, no awkward extension cord running behind furniture. It gives the space that boutique hotel feeling, soft, warm, intentional light exactly where you want it. And the best part is that cordless lamps are usually small enough to move around. You can use one for dinner, then move it to a nightstand. You can place it in a dark corner that always felt forgotten. You can use it where a regular lamp would never work. This is one of those details that makes people feel something before they know why. They walk into the room and it just feels better, not brighter, softer. That's the difference. The fourth find is pinch pleated linen curtains. Curtains are one of the easiest ways to make a room look more expensive, but they are also one of the easiest things to get wrong. Most people hang curtains too low, too narrow, or too short, and when curtains are hung that way, the window looks smaller, the ceiling looks lower, and the room feels less finished. Pinch pleated curtains instantly look more custom. The pleats create structure, the linen texture softens the room, and when you hang them high and wide, they make the entire space feel taller and more elegant. The trick is simple. Place the curtain rod closer to the ceiling, not directly above the window frame. Then extend the rod wider than the window so the curtains frame the window instead of covering it. This makes the window feel larger, even if the actual window is small. Linen-style curtains are especially good because they filter light in a soft way. They don't feel heavy, they don't look stiff, they create movement and texture without making the room feel formal. This works in bedrooms, living rooms, dining rooms, and even home offices. If your room feels basic but you can't figure out why, look at the windows. Bare windows or cheap-looking curtains can make everything around them feel less elevated. Good curtains make the room feel dressed, and when they're pinch pleated, they give that custom designer look without the custom designer price. The fifth find is a cotton waffle wave throw blanket. A throw blanket might sound basic, but texture is one of the biggest differences between a room that looks flat and a room that looks expensive. A sofa with only smooth surfaces can feel unfinished. A bed with only plain bedding can feel a little lifeless. But add a textured throw, and suddenly the room has softness, depth, and movement. A waffle weave throw works because it adds visible texture without feeling too heavy. It's relaxed but still elevated. It looks good draped over the corner of a sofa, folded at the end of a bed, or layered over an accent chair. And because it's cotton, it feels appropriate for warmer seasons too. You get the visual softness of a blanket without making the room feel wintry or overly heavy. This is especially useful if your home has a lot of neutral colors. Neutral rooms can look beautiful, but they need texture to avoid looking plain. A cotton throw gives you that texture in a way that feels quiet and natural. The goal is not to make the room look decorated. The goal is to make it look lived in beautifully. That's the difference between a room that feels staged and a room that feels expensive. So, if you want your home to look more elevated this year, don't start by replacing all your furniture. Start with the details. A marble tray to make everyday items look intentional, a woven basket to hide clutter and add natural texture, a cordless lamp to create soft, warm lighting anywhere, pinch-pleated linen curtains to make the room feel taller and more finished, and a cotton waffle throw blanket to add softness and depth. None of these pieces need to be loud. In fact, they work because they're not loud. They quietly make the room feel warmer, calmer, and more expensive. That's the whole idea behind Luxe for Less. You don't need a designer budget to create a beautiful home. You just need to choose the details that do the most visual work. I linked the affordable finds in the description.